Crossing the parallel world of heaven and earth's revival, I occasionally stumbled upon chat groups from various heavens. As the saying goes, spoilers are always satisfying, always spoilers are always satisfying. Li Hao looked at the familiar world leaders in the chat group and fell into a long contemplation. Which big shot should be the spoilers today? Yi Tiandi, who has not yet boarded the 9 Dragons coffin. Or perhaps the pitiful Emperor Xiaodou. Or can we talk to the ruthless Emperor again? VIP Book Enthusiast Group 974615627, those with a fan value greater than 2000 can join, with AQ reading activity of over 14,000. Ordinary Book Friend Group 612955506 keywords of the novel. No pop-ups in the Zhutian spoiler group. Download the complete TXT episode of the Zhutian spoiler group, and read the latest chapters in the Zhutian spoiler group. Chapter 1. Zhutian Chat Group. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1 Zhutian Chat Group. The cabinet announced today that it is expected to fully promote martial arts practice this year. Wudong, Amei, and Shaolin will publicly recruit students worldwide. The newly appointed Great Master Ma Qiangdong challenged the Great Master Lu Huatang, and many Great Masters from various countries expressed their willingness to come and observe. Li Hao was scrolling through the news, unable to resist a slight twitch at the corner of his mouth. Although it has been more than half a month since Li Hao traveled to this parallel world, every time he sees this news, he can't help but feel Alexander's heart beating. Damn it! Damn it! This is completely unscientific. Revival of spiritual energy, great changes in heaven and earth. Crossing this parallel world is fine, but why can't I meow through to the beginning of spiritual revival, but to the end of spiritual revival? According to online news, it is already the 15th year of spiritual revival, otherwise there would not have been so many great masters. What is a great master who can fly in the sky, punch the mountains, and cut off the Yangtze River with his sword? Simply put, this is a group of humanoid missiles. Hey! Li Hao let out a heavy sigh, feeling quite uneasy in his heart. 15 years after the recovery of heaven and earth, various countries have already completed corresponding reforms and established new power institutions. He can barely be considered stepping on the end of the big era. This time of crossing is very awkward. The great opportunity of the early recovery of heaven and earth has passed, and the cake of the new era has also been roughly divided by the rising masters. It may not be particularly difficult to establish oneself in such a new era. But it is very difficult to rise to power in such an era. The chat group of Zhutian has opened, with the leader of the moon worship sect, Li Xuanhuan, Xiao Yanling Ji, Xiaolongnu, and the unbeaten mischievous child Gu Santong joining the group. Congratulations, you have been selected to join the Zhutian chat group. Please confirm your nickname. As the first group of members, you have 1 hour to elect the group leader. After 1 hour, the person with the most votes will become the group leader. If multiple people have the same number of votes, the group leader selection will wait for the second group of members to join the group again. The leader of this group is on a lifelong basis and cannot resign unless the previous leader dies. Li Hao's face was full of confusion and he didn't react for a while. What the hell is he meowing about? Zhutian chat group. Wait, the Zhutian chat group is not the key. The key is the leader of the moon worship sect, Li Xuanhuan, Xiaoyan Lingji, Xiaolongnu, and the unbeaten mischievous child Gu Santong. Aren't these all beings in the fantasy world? Dreaming. Li Hao secretly twisted his thigh. Hiss. It hurts a bit. Li Hao gradually regained consciousness and barely suppressed the excitement in his heart. I have experienced everything through time travel, isn't it just a small chat group in the heavens? Is it worth being excited, is it worth it? Li Hao recalled 3 messages in his mind and fell into a brief moment of contemplation. First of all, the good news is that these idiots are all real names, and I have a deep understanding of their origins and background. Bah, chatting must be much easier. Secondly, the group leader. I and others were the elders of the first group of Zhutian chat groups. Although it is unknown how much these people know about chat groups, they are all ancient people living in ancient times. Faced with such a surreal and exciting situation, even with a big heart, it is difficult to accept even if one is afraid for a while. In summary, one can fully seize the opportunity and steal the throne of the group leader. Especially since I have a deep understanding of them, it is even easier to steal the throne of the group leader. Li Hao pondered and had an idea. Chat groups. Li Daxian, who is omniscient and omnipotent, joined the group. Everyone's eyes are slightly discerning, omniscient and versatile. It's a bit crazy to come here. Although everyone felt that the newcomer was too arrogant, no one really cared about Li Hao's name. We are all children of the martial arts world, and we have never seen any kind of domineering reputation, let alone the unbeaten mischievous Gu Santong. Who would idle around worrying about whether the ancient three links can remain unbeaten? Someone has come again, said Gu Santong, an unbeatable mischievous child master of the moon worship sect. Immortal. Li Xuanhuan said, it seems similar to our situation, it should also come from a different world. Xiaoyan Lingji. He's still young and doesn't dare to speak. Li Hao couldn't help but twitch his eyes as he watched the conversation between the few people. It seems that they have talked a lot before and actually have concepts from different worlds. But it doesn't matter, pretending to force and deceive the group leader is the right way now. Li Daxian, who is omniscient and omnipotent, said, I remember drinking with the group of immortals before. How could I suddenly come to such a place? The chat group of the heavens transcends the existence of the heavenly Tao. And where are you, the creatures of the earth realm, and the creatures of the small world of the heavens? Forget it, let me calculate a hexagram. Silence. Master of the moon worship sect. Great Immortal. Invincible mischievous child Gu Santong said, you've lost your life. Although you can't understand what this immortal is saying, you always feel so powerful. But you're all-knowing and all-powerful. Xiaoyan Lingji. He's still young and doesn't dare to speak. Li Daxian, who is omniscient and omnipotent, said, at invincible naughty child Gu Santong. Can you find the true legend of the Tianqi strange hero and practice the Vajra immortal skill and the absorbing skill? Invincible mischievous child Gu Santong said, damn it, I only found this precious treasure half a month ago. Even the immortal knows about this kind of thing. At Li Xuanhuan, Xiao Li Tanhua Li Xuanhuan. Li Xuanhuan. Omega, Omega, I am Xiao Li Tanhua and Li Xuanhuan. Why did the immortal master recognize Li? Several people were inexplicably shocked when they saw this. Before Li Hao arrived, they had already had a brief exchange. Although the Zhutian chat group is very incredible, they are not ordinary people, even though they have not yet accepted this super mystical setting. But it is also roughly understood that everyone is not from the same world. Therefore, at this moment, Li Hao easily revealed the story and names of several people, but they had to be shocked. Master of the moon worship sect. The evolution of the heavenly mechanism allows us to explore billions of creatures in the heavens. It's incredible, this kind of power is too incredible. The omnipotence and omnipotence may be slightly exaggerated, but this innate calculation technique is truly admirable and frightening. Although paying respects to the moon can also deduce heavenly secrets, it cannot achieve the effortless freehand brushwork of immortals. I can only deduce the fate of some of our world's creatures, but if I want to deduce the heavens, why not? I am far inferior to immortal Xiaoyan Lingji. He is still young and dare not speak. But even so, they still have to say that Brother Li is so impressive. Brother Baiyu is also very impressive, so envious. Research system, Yan Lingji is so pitiful. Master knows every day to force her to practice. The house is small, I want friends, I want delicious food, and I want to sleep in. Li Hao's eyes narrowed slightly. There seems to be a slight delicacy in the matter. The unbeaten mischievous boy Gu Santong has just obtained the inheritance of the Tianqi Weixia, which means the plot has not yet begun. There are still at least 20 or 30 years left until the top plot in the world. And Flame Spirit G. This is really the enchanting and unparalleled Tianqing Jyoga. No matter how you look at it, it looks like a little brat who hasn't grown up yet. And, Master. If I remember correctly, when Flame Spirit G first appeared in the 9 Songs of the Heavenly Journey, she had already been kept as a mermaid in the dungeon for over a decade. So, is the timeline where Yan Lingji is located also before the start of the plot? Interesting, this seems to be even more interesting. Li Hao's mouth curved slightly, but he couldn't help but burst into laughter in his heart. As the saying goes, spoilers are always satisfying, and spoilers are always satisfying. Poor people, are you ready to welcome the life of spoilers? End of this chapter. 2, Chapter 2. Spoilers have a moment of enjoyment, spoilers always have a moment of enjoyment. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. Spoilers have a moment of pleasure, spoilers always have a moment of pleasure. Master of the Moon Worship Sect. At Little Flame Spirit G, poor little one, seeing you reminds me of my past self. Back then, I practiced with my adoptive father, and it was the same. Hee, the past is like smoke, the past is like smoke, it's okay not to say it, it's okay not to say it. Little one, if you encounter any unpleasant things in the future, you can come and confide in our sect leader Xiaoyan Lingji said, Brother Baiyue is really kind, Phi, Omega. Chapter 3. Little Dragon Girl Opening the Door of the New World. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3. Little Dragon Girl Opening the Door of the New World. In the darkness, Little Dragon Girl was full of entanglement, her hands clasped around her knees and huddled together. Weak, pitiful, and helpless. The mood of the Master of the Moon Worship Sect is complex, very complicated. Dead. I'm dead. The great cause has not been achieved. He didn't have too much doubt about Li Hao's words. Especially when it involves Nu Hua and the mysterious young man who appeared. Even in his own world, few people know about these things, let alone Li Hao, a person from another world. So in the eyes of the Master of the Moon Worship Sect, since both of them are not in the same world, Li Hao can understand his own affairs so clearly, and even know about the connection between Li Xuanhuan and the unbeaten mischievous child Gu Santong. Apart from his boundless power, there is really no other explanation. The mood of the Master of the Moon Worship Sect was extremely complex, and there was even a momentary loss of consciousness. What are you persisting in? Li Daxian, who is omniscient and omnipotent, said, at Master Baiyue, although you want to destroy the world, your personality is far from that of this immortal. But I still have to say that you are the only one in this group who can enter my eyes. Li Xuanhuan's mouth twitched slightly. Why doesn't this immortal have any pressure? I feel like the leader of the Moon Worship Sect is much stronger than you. What you said before is even worse, okay? Xiaoyan Lingji. Humph. The head of the Moon Worshipping Sect raised his eyebrows slightly, not only not feeling angry about Li Hao's arrogant attitude, but also showing interest. The Master of the Worshipping Moon Sect said, worshipping the moon has a lot of self-awareness. Those who succeed are kings, while those who fail are bandits. If they are defeated, they will also be defeated. Nu Hua, one of the 3 ancient gods, can let such an ancient deity, who was born at the beginning of heaven and earth, personally take action. I worship the moon and die without regret. Live or die. At least I have no regrets in my life of worshipping the moon, and I have worked tirelessly for my great dreams, never slacking off. The corners of their eyes twitched slightly. They always felt that there were too many grooves, and they didn't even know where to start roast. The world is beginning to open. Ancient gods. And your dreams. Destroy the world. I want to say something, but after thinking about it, I really don't know what to say. I can only kneel down to the big shot, said Gu Santong. An unbeatable mischievous child. Li Xuanhuan said, I want to say something, but after thinking about it, I really don't know what to say. I can only kneel down to the big shot. Xiaoyan Lingji said, I want to say something, but after thinking about it, I really don't know what to say. I can only kneel down for the big shot. Xiaoyan Lingji said, wow, Brother Baiwei is so powerful that he can provoke ancient gods to take action. Can Brother Baiwei fly to heaven and escape from the earth, just like the legendary immortals? Master Baiwei said, flying to heaven and earth is just a small skill. If you want to learn it, I can teach you. Flying to the heavens and escaping to the earth, little skill. The unbeaten mischievous boy Gu San is swallowing saliva uncontrollably, and his whole body is feeling a bit bad. Li Xuanhuan's eyes twitched wildly, but he managed to hold back and didn't jump up. I, Xiaoli Tanhua, am a scholar. I want to be steady, steady. Xiaolongnu also changed her expression and almost fell directly from the sturdy but slightly slender forehead rope. Her slightly slender and delicate body swayed slightly, and the slender rope suddenly sank downwards. Hush! Xiaolongnu's bright eyes widened and she couldn't help but moan. Grandmother heard the commotion in the inner room and exclaimed in surprise, Miss, are you okay? No, it's nothing, it's just a nightmare. Little dragon girl twisted her waist and whispered in a low voice, feeling a lack of confidence. Grandmother was somewhat surprised, unable to hear the concealment in little dragon's words. However, she was the one who came over and did not continue to inquire. Grandmother said, if you want to talk to someone, the old lady has been outside the door. Xiaolongnu finally broke free from the constraints and devastation of the rope demon. She moved her body and breathed a slight sigh of relief. Grandma, I'm fine now. Invincible mischievous child Gu Santong said, is it still possible for me to recognize my relatives now? Hello, Moon brother. Li Xuanhuan supported his forehead with his hand, but this time he really didn't have the courage to replicate. It's too shameless. Li Hao's face was speechless, and he always felt that the speed at which the unbeaten mischievous Gu Santong collapsed was a bit fast. I can't bear to look straight at you. Xiaolongnu couldn't help but laugh when she thought of the wild and unrestrained image of the unbeaten mischievous child before. The leader of the moon worship sect is also somewhat speechless and somewhat funny. He doesn't even remember how many years he hasn't laughed. However, the unruly personality of the indomitable mischievous child still makes the leader of the moon worship sect unable to resist the urge to teach him a lesson. Yan Lingji, little cutie, even calling me brother is okay. What kind of thing is Gu Santong, the unbeaten mischievous child, who dares to call me brother of the moon worship sect? Master of the moon worship sect. At Invincible naughty Gu Santong, if you dare to learn a few dog barks, I can consider teaching you. Invincible naughty Gu Santong. Bullying people too much, bullying people too much. Think of me, Invincible naughty Gu Santong has been in the martial arts world for more than 10 years. When have you ever been humiliated like this? If you dare to teach me, I dare to shout. Woo 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 woo, who's afraid of anyone? If we have the ability, let's continue to come, don't stop. If we don't learn all the spells you know, the indomitable mischievous boy, will have your surname, said Gu Santong. Everyone was speechless. Many shameless people have been seen, such shameless people are rare. Li Xuanhuan said, it's shameless. Xiaoyan Lingji said, you are shameless. Master of the moon worship sect. The most shameless. Xiaolongnu's cheeks were rosy, and her temples were entangled in sweat. However, after seeing the shamelessness of the unbeaten mischievous child, little dragon girl couldn't help but evolve into a repeating machine, disregarding her original intention to continue diving and observing. Xiaolongnu. The most shameless. Xiao Yan Lingji. Wow, sister is out. At Xiaolongnu, she's called Yan Lingji and lives in Baiwei. Where is sister from? Xiaolongnu looked at Yan Lingji's question and hesitated for a moment before replying. Xiaolongnu lives in Zhongnan Mountain. However, Xiaolongnu still kept a secret and did not disclose her exact address. Mount Zhongnan. The unbeaten mischievous child Gu Santong raised his eyebrows slightly, revealing an unexpected expression. He also has Mount Zhongnan here. Li Hao's eyes narrowed slightly, and he already knew the origin of Little Dragon Girl. Mount Zhongnan. How many little dragon girls can live in Zhongnan Mountain? Li Daxian, who knows everything, said, "At Little Dragon Girl, is your ancestor Lin Chaoying." Xiaolongnu was a bit surprised and said, "Does the Immortal recognize my ancestor of the ancient tomb sect?" "I don't know, I just calculated it by hand," said Li Daxian, a true and omnipotent person. Xiaolongnu was somewhat speechless and also somewhat in awe. "By the way, is there still such an algorithm?" Xiaolongnu has self-awareness. "If you say that the leader of the moon worship sect and others are famous all over the world, it's okay to be cared for. I have been living in an ancient tomb since I was young, and the farthest I can go is to wander around outside the tomb. I know no more than a leader in this world." The other party can clearly state the situation of the ancient tomb sect. Obviously they can only say that their means are invincible. Xiaolongnu remained silent for 2 seconds and said, "Immortal means the sky, observing the past, present, and future. What did you mean when you said we were all unlucky before?" Everyone frowned when they saw this. Many people only then noticed this issue. Among them, Li Xuanhuan's expression changed the most. His handsome face lost its color, and his eyes stared blankly at the void. "Is that your own future?" End of this chapter. Can deceiving children be called deceit in Chapter 4? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. Can cheating children be known as cheating? Li Hao's mouth curved slightly and he smiled. Has anyone finally noticed this issue? Li Daxian said, "Literally, your life is a tragedy." Tragedy. Everyone couldn't help but shudder and their expressions changed. After learning about the outcome of the moon worship sect, they had to doubt whether they were also like that. Ants are still greedy for survival, let alone humans. Even Little Dragon Girl cannot ignore death, let alone others. Li Daxian. No, your future is not a tragedy. The crowd was shocked and somewhat confused. Daxian, what exactly do you mean? One moment it's a tragedy, another moment it's not a tragedy, play with us. Invincible mischievous child Gu Santong. Xiaolongnu. Xiaoyan Lingji. Brotherly is good or bad and deliberately scares others. Li Xuanhuan, continue to lose consciousness. Worshipping the leader of the moon sect, lost in thought. Li Daxian. Your future is clearly a coffee table, filled with cups, tragedy. Disdainful. JPG. The corners of everyone's eyes twitched, with an impulse to kill Li Hao. At the same time, I couldn't help but take a deep breath of air conditioning. Tea table. That's too much. Invincible mischievous child Gu Santong. Xiaolongnu. Xiaoyan Lingji. Li Xuanhuan. Master of the Moon Worship Sect, peeking through the screen. Immortal, stop playing, we'll be scared to death by you. Also, the coffee table or something, isn't it a bit excessive, said Gu Santong. An unbeatable mischievous child Li Daxian said, at invincible mischievous child Gu Santong. He was ambushed by his brothers, and his wife helped you block half of his palm and become a living dead person. His son wandered into the folk and made a living by sneaking around. He was imprisoned in a dungeon and never saw the light of the sky. In the end, he died alone and without a place to rely on. Do you think your life is a big coffee table filled with cups and utensils? The indomitable mischievous child Gu Santong, with his uppercase confusion, no longer had his usual playful smile on his face, and his pale face was full of loss and confusion. Brother, wife, and son. Do you have a son yourself? Wait, now it's not about focusing on the wife and son's issues, but whether this is really true. Brother. I have been wandering the world for more than 10 years, but there are not many people who can be called brothers. Gu Santong's face was gloomy, and his heart was boiling with murderous intent. He has always been a kind person, let alone a person seeking fame and reputation. Invincible mischievous child, both righteous and evil. Invincible mischievous child Gu Santong said, at Li Daxian, could you please provide a detailed explanation of the cause and effect? There will be a heavy thank you in the future. Li Daxian. At Xiaolongnu, your senior sister has been expelled from the ancient tomb sect and has always held a grudge. She has prepared a big gift for you, and at the age of 18, she will definitely not be able to live peacefully. Senior sister. 18 years old. Isn't that 2 years from now? Xiaolongnu's gaze narrowed slightly and she hurriedly said, does the Immortal know my senior sister? Li Daxian said, do you think this is all the tragedy of your life? Wrong, big wrong, this is just the beginning of your tragedy. Your only relative will die soon after because of saving someone, and then. Forget it, I wish you good luck, little girl. Xiaolong Bei clenched her teeth and her bright eyes narrowed slightly, filled with cold radiance. Senior sister's wrongdoing, mother.in.law's death, and myself. This is my own future, a negligible part of a full tragedy. And why did this bad fairy only say half of it, and then, what happened? Xiaolongnu hugged her knees with both hands and trembled. The outside world is so scary. Poor, weak, helpless, and a little desperate. While strangling that fairy. Compared to the anxiety of the unbeaten mischievous boy Gu Santong and the panic and unease of the little dragon girl, Li Hao was very pleased at this moment. In front of these characters in the fantasy world, roast that they are full of ups and downs in their life, and don't be too happy, okay? Li Daxian. At Little Flame Spirit G. Xiaoyan Lingji said, wow, let's cry out loud. Brotherly, don't scare him, okay? He's just a poor and helpless child. Xiaoyan Lingji said, Li Hao couldn't help but laugh and cry. This little guy is really different from the little fairy in Tianqing Jioga. Li Daxian said, okay, then I won't tell you. You will be defeated and captured in the future, and all the members of your tribe will die tragically. You will be kept as a pet in a super large water tank made of crystal for thousands of years. Quiet. The chat group was completely silent. The corners of everyone's mouths twitched slightly, and they couldn't help but roll their eyes wildly. Bad. Too bad. At the same time, everyone's sympathy exploded. It's so pitiful to be kept as a pet in a super large water tank made of crystal for thousands of years. What a great hatred. Xiaoyan Lingji. Wow, oh, I don't want it. You bully people. Don't keep them in the water tank, don't be pets. Xiaoyan Lingji said, you are a bad person who bullies people. I want to tell my master, Wu Wu. Xiaoyan Lingji. Wu Wu, they don't want it. Li Hao looked at the crying little flame spirit Ji and scratched his head with some helplessness. I seem to have gone too far in playing. Li Daxian. What a big deal, as for what? Everyone was speechless, giving Li Hao a bunch of white eyes. How big of a thing is this? If I encounter such a situation myself, I'm afraid I don't have a strong desire to die, let alone that Xiaoyan Lingji is just a child. Yan Lingji continued to cry, and her choked voice was particularly heartbreaking. Li Hao sighed helplessly. Children or something, it's really annoying. He looked at his small room and finally set his gaze on the table not far away. Rainbow sugar. Li Daxian sent an exclusive red envelope to Xiaoyan Lingji. Xiaoyan Lingji received an exclusive red envelope. Baiyue. In the secluded mountains and forests, a earthen fortress looms faintly. The village is not big, and there are only about 1,000 houses in the forest. Looking at the entire land of China, it is really very inconspicuous. Village, inside the largest main building. A little girl in a fiery red short skirt, about 11 or 12 years old, sat on the window. Her face was delicate and flawless, with a hint of baby fat on her melon seed face. Her bright eyes were as captivating as a fox. Although only at a young age, it has already demonstrated the charm of causing chaos in the world. The little girl is the internet name Xiaoyan Lingji, a peerless and enchanting creature that has not yet grown up. At this moment, Yan Lingji had no fear at all. She was swaying with a pair of crystal-clear little feet, happily playing with a colorful candy. Crystal slender jade fingers held a red candy and gestured to the bright moon outside the window. Yan Lingji's narrow and seductive bright eyes narrowed slightly as she looked at the candy at Mingyue's fingertips and curiously whispered to herself, "What is this? And how did they suddenly run into their own hands? Is it because of that red envelope?" Yan Lingji held her fragrant cheeks in her hand and gazed at the candy in her hand, somewhat puzzled and curious. Li Daxian said, "All right, take a candy and stop crying. This small matter is not insurmountable. At most, I can change your destiny against the heavens." Change your destiny against the heavens. Everyone's pupils tightened and their faces were filled with shock. Big shot Nyobi. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. I am the group Sunday, when. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. I am a group Sunday, when. Li Daxian, who is omniscient and omnipotent, said, "The root cause of your problem is that your own strength is not strong enough. If you have the strength of the Lord of the Moon worship sect, in your world, not to mention being caught by others, it would be good if you don't take others as pets." Everyone saw this and was taken aback. Yeah, if you have the ability to destroy the world like the leader of the Moon worship sect, why are you afraid? In the martial arts world, even if all the experts come out together, what can they do? Li Daxian, who is omniscient and omnipotent, said, "As the saying goes, one force can bring down 10 meetings, and the great road of the world is no exception. As long as you have enough strength, even if future disasters occur, what will happen? You can send me your own cultivation techniques, and I will study the laws of the Tao in your world to see if I can find a good way to improve your cultivation." Li Hao fooled around for a while and finally exposed his wolf-like ambition. The earth he is currently on, the recovery of heaven and earth, is no weaker than the martial arts world where everyone is located, and may even be even stronger. After all, it has only been 15 years since the recovery of heaven and earth, and there has already been a great master who has broken the mountains with his fist. If in 15 years, 150 years, who dares to say that the earth will not become the legendary fantasy world? In the long run, the potential of the earth is not weak at all. But this was not useful for Li Hao in the past. There were no suitable cultivation methods, and there were no divine skill secrets to strengthen himself. Even if this world can accommodate gods and Buddhas, it has nothing to do with him. But now it's different. With the Zhutian chat group, it's like opening up a magical gateway to the various heavens and realms. The earth lacks cultivation methods, but in the vast universe and countless worlds, there are countless such methods. Even if it is the law of longevity, it is not uncommon at all. Li Daxian, who is omniscient and omnipotent, said, "It's not that I'm stingy and unwilling to pass on your more profound divine skills. In fact, there are heavenly paths in all heavens and all realms. Even if I pass on your supreme divine powers and magical methods, I may not be able to practice in your world. Just like fish cannot leave water, ordinary people cannot survive in water for a long time." Everyone remained silent, feeling as if they had realized something, but couldn't say it. As for Li Hao's words, everyone had no doubt. In their eyes, Li Hao was able to accurately tell everyone's story, and his cultivation was terrifying enough to imagine. He didn't even admire the leader of the moon worship sect who wanted to destroy the world. Faced with such a super big shot who can cross the heavens and explore people's roots, how could they suspect that the other party is greedy for their own martial arts? Just like the world's richest man, he won't covet those 2 coins in the beggar's bowl. Upon seeing Li Hao's words, Yan Lingji fell into a small entanglement. She didn't think that Li Hao was lying to her, but was afraid that if her master knew that she had leaked secrets from her tribe, she would beat her up. That small vine is very painful. While Yan Lingji was still struggling, the rest of the crowd had already taken action. Invincible mischievous child Gu Santong sent an exclusive red envelope to omniscient and versatile Li Daxian. Li Xuanhuan sent an exclusive red envelope to the omniscient and versatile Li Daxian. Invincible mischievous child Gu Santong. When I first met the great immortal, I felt that his divine power and magical power were unparalleled in the world, making me admire him greatly. Unfortunately, Gu was used to being carefree and had no other treasures to show filial piety to the great immortal. These 2 peerless secret books were found by a villain from an ancient cave, and are top-notch divine arts in the world. Compared to the divine powers and techniques of the great immortal, these 2 secret books are definitely not worth mentioning. But the most precious things on the little one are these 2 secret books. I hope the immortal can understand a little. Li Xuanhuan's mouth twitched slightly. This guy is so shameless. The most important thing is that you have finished speaking. What do you want me to say? Li Xuanhuan couldn't help but shudder at the thought of Li Hao's criticism of his life. The future is too scary. I am not convinced by Li Xuanhuan. He said, I have no treasures in my lower body, only this secret book can be used. I hope the immortal doesn't mind. Li wishes the immortal to prove the Hunyuan Avenue as soon as possible and achieve eternal immortality. The indomitable mischievous child scratched his head, feeling a bit angry in his heart. This damn scholar flatters me so well, it really infuriates me. Hey, who makes me unbeaten? A naughty boy with no culture, a big shot drives the world away. Li Daxian, who is omniscient and omnipotent, received a red envelope. Congratulations on obtaining the Diamond Immortal skill, Star-absorbing technique, and Little Li Flying Dagger. Li Hao's eyes narrowed slightly, and he could no longer suppress his excitement. Developed. With these treasures, I dare not say that I have too many. At least I have the possibility of becoming an advanced master. And just as Li Hao was receiving the red envelope, a grand and grandiose voice appeared in everyone's minds. The group activity has reached its limit, the group level has been improved, the group task function has been activated, and the private chat function has been activated. Due to the promotion of the Zhutian chat group, the group leader selection activity will be carried out in advance. Please recommend the group leader. Leader. Li Hao was taken aback for a moment, not expecting that the selection of group leaders had been advanced. The crowd pondered slightly and soon made a decision. Invincible mischievous child Gu Santong said, I don't agree with anyone in this group. I agree with the great immortal. The position of the group leader belongs to none other than the great immortal. Li Xuanhuan. Li also thinks so. Xiaoyan Lingji said, Oh my, Brother Li is a good person who wants to help others change their destiny against the heavens. They like Brother Li the most, and I choose him as the group leader. Master Baiwe shook his head slightly, what else can I say? Master of the Moon Worship Sect. The great immortal's magical power is immense, and the Moon Worship Sect is convinced. Xiaolongnu. I have no objection either. Xiaolongnu is not fond of talking, let alone being someone who enjoys meddling, and naturally has no interest in competing for the position of group leader. Of course, the reason why everyone chose Li Hao was not because of the so-called omniscient and omnipotent in his name, because anyone with a slight intelligence would not believe this small trick. This is like the story of Spear and Shield, already full of contradictions. They chose Li Hao simply because his performance was too profound and unpredictable. At Li Hao's stunned moment, the sound of Tao in his mind rang out again. All-knowing and all-powerful Li Daxian has obtained full votes. Congratulations on becoming the leader of this group. Activate the leader privilege, activate the leader privilege. Got it. Li Hao blinked slightly bewildered, his heart filled with excitement. He silently thought to himself, what are the privileges and privileges of the group leader? The Tao Yin in the dark said, the privileges of the group leader mainly allow you to enjoy some group functions that have not been enabled in advance. Please refer to the group operation rules for details. The group leader's permissions can block the perception of relevant members in the group towards the chat group of the heavens. For other related details, please refer to the group operation rules for details. Li Hao's expression slightly changed, and he felt a little excited in his heart. Isn't his cat just a permission dog? Blocking the perception of group members towards chat groups is not much different from directly kicking people out of the chat group, is it? Ha ha ha, whoever dares to disagree in the future, let him know the power of the permission dog. Li Hao's heart was filled with pleasure, as if he had seen all the members of the group reach the pinnacle of their lives under his lewd authority, and wise leadership. View the group operation rules and search for group owner privileges. Li Hao silently recited in his heart, and a large amount of news suddenly appeared in his mind. Exclusive privileges for group leaders. The Great Way Oven can be used to deduce divine powers, techniques, and other skills to higher levels, with a certain chance of failure. The higher the level of the divine skill, the greater the chance of failure in strengthening. There is no punishment for failure, and the essence is not damaged. This privilege is available for free once a month, and can be used to deduce up to 3 divine skills each time. Points can also be used to strengthen skills. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Super Evolution of Vajra Immortal Skill. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. Vajra's Immortal Skill. Super Evolution. Li Hao's pupils tightened and he couldn't help but take a breath of cold air. So naughty. But soon he shifted his focus and silently asked, check the point system. Points can be obtained by completing group tasks or by activating special achievements. Currently, the task system has been activated, and the point system will automatically activate when points are obtained. Points can be used for internal transactions among group members, as well as to improve cultivation, shopping in the mall, and more. Li Hao raised his eyebrows slightly, somewhat surprised. Task system, point system, mall system. It seems that the role of Zhutian chat groups is far beyond imagination. I may not see much now, but as the members of the Zhutian chat group increase in the future, the role of these systems cannot be estimated. Without hesitation, this is not only a communication center for the giants of the heavens and the world, but also a trading center. No, there must be more than that. Li Hao pondered and attached more importance to the Zhutian chat group. After pondering for a moment, he said, let's deduce from Diamond Immortal Skill, Literally Flying Dagger, and Star Absorbing Technique. The main road oven has been opened and evolved successfully. The quality of the yellow level top grade Diamond Immortal Divine Skill has been greatly improved, and it has been upgraded to the mysterious level top grade Immortal Golden Body. The Immortal Golden Body has a total of 9 levels, and practicing to the highest level can greatly extend one's lifespan. Normally, one can obtain thousands of years of longevity. And the physical body is extremely powerful, fearless of water, fire, and swords, capable of beheading without death, and being reborn with drops of blood. Li Hao's pupils tightened and he couldn't help but gasp for air conditioning. This Nima. If Vajra Immortal Divine Arts still belongs to the realm of martial arts, then, Immortal Golden Body, is completely a secret technique of divine arts in the immortal world. Even in the world of the Immortal Sword where the Lord of the Moon Worship sect is located, there are probably not many divine powers and secret techniques that can rival the Immortal Golden Body, right? The quality of the yellow level top grade Shaoli Flying Dagger has been greatly improved, and it has been upgraded to the Xian level intermediate level Imperial weapon technique. This technique contains condensed magic treasures and the technique of controlling treasures, and can be used to control the flight of weapons at the initial stage. The quality of the yellow level top grade star absorbing technique has been greatly improved, and it has advanced to the mysterious level top grade beaming swallows the sky. This technique can devour the essence, blood, and soul of life, and has a certain chance to extract the opponent's divine abilities and talents. Li Hao's face twitched slightly before he calmed down for a while. This is the Avenue Oven. Li Hao never dared to imagine how terrifying the optimization of the Avenue Oven would be. Originally considered a relatively good martial arts technique in the world of martial arts, now it has directly become a secret scripture in the world of immortality. This kind of evolution is too terrifying. Fortunately, this is a privilege exclusively enjoyed by the group leader, and so on. Li Hao's eyes narrowed slightly, and a gentle smile couldn't help but ripple on his face. Exclusive privileges for group leaders. Daxian uploaded a limited-time free secret script called Immortal Golden Body, which will be automatically deleted after 24 hours. All group members can go to the group library to retrieve it. The unbeaten mischievous child Gu Santong extracted the Immortal Golden Body. Li Xuanhuan extracted the Immortal Golden Body. Master of the Moon Worship Sect Little Flame Spirit Concubine Little Dragon Girl quickly, all 5 of them extracted the Immortal Golden Body. Secret script evolved from Vajra Immortal Divine Skill. A few people briefly looked at the secret script and were immediately shocked by the introduction above, shaking their bodies again and again. Extend life for thousands of years. Immortal Body. Cut off your head and never die. Bloodthirst Rebirth. The indomitable mischievous child had already gained a clear understanding of the Vajra Immortal Divine Skill, so soon he saw a familiar shadow on the cultivation method of the Immortal Golden Body. Invincible mischievous child Gu Santong. At Li Daxian, big guy, is this really evolved from Diamond Immortal Divine Skill? Li Daxian said, at Invincible Naughty Old 3 Links, the secret script you passed on is a bit interesting. Although it is relatively shallow, it has also made me gain a lot. The collision of rules and avenues in different worlds is far more interesting than I imagined. I have casually modified your secret script. Although I am not sure if you can reach the highest level of cultivation in your world, I am sure you can cultivate it. Thank you all for your kindness. This secret book will be my little gift to everyone. The unbeaten mischievous child's mouth twitched slightly and almost fell to the ground. Make some slight modifications. This Nima is also known as a casual modification. It can directly change from a regular martial arts secret script to an eternal life secret script, a cultivation secret method. The other few may not know what quality Vajra Bu Shengong belongs to, but they can also roughly understand it from the words of Bu Tong before Gu San Tong. But at this moment, no matter how they look at this Immortal Golden Body secret technique, it cannot seem like a product of the invincible world of mischievous children. If this thing comes from the world of the Moon Worship Sect, they can understand it. After all, that is a place with ancient gods and demons everywhere. Invincible Naughty Gu San Tong. I made some random modifications. Invincible mischievous child Gu Santong said, this all goes directly from an ordinary martial arts secret script to the method of cultivating immortality and longevity, which is also called modifying a bit. Me, big shot, I was wrong, I was really wrong. I shouldn't underestimate the big shot. I'm guilty, I admit my mistake, and in the future, I'll lick the big shot. Master of the Moon Worship Sect. It's unbelievable. This volume of Immortal Golden Body is even more mysterious than the highest secret scripture of my Moon Worship Sect. If I can practice to the highest level, maybe I can really compare to gods and demons. On par with gods and demons. Xialong and others are all in a muddle, and their hearts are like 10 million grassland animals rushing past. They can doubt the insight of the indomitable mischievous child Gu Santong, but they will never doubt the vision of the god of the moon worship sect, a madman who destroys the world. Since the master of the moon worship sect claims that this secret book can directly reach the realm of gods and demons, it is obvious that the introduction of this secret book is not exaggerated in the slightest. This is the mystical path to immortality. The most puzzling thing for them was how long Li Hao had only received the secret script, when he modified an ordinary martial arts secret book into a longevity secret method. Li Daxian's cultivation is truly terrifying. Although it's impossible, considering the terrifying cultivation, I'm afraid it's really no different from gods and demons. Everyone felt emotional in their hearts. Li Xuanhuan felt the divine skill secret script that seemed to be engraved in his mind, and his heart was filled with excitement and excitement. Li Xuanhuan. Slightly modify Li Daxian, admire, admire. Invincible mischievous child Gu Santong. Slightly modify Li Daxian, admire, admire. Xialongnu. Slightly modify Li Daxian, admire, admire. Master of the moon worship sect. Slightly modify Li Daxian, admire, admire. Xiao Xiao Yanling Ji. Slightly modify Li Daxian, admire, admire. Xiao Yanling Ji. Oh my, Brother Li said he wanted to help them modify the secret script epsilon asterisk. Will someone go to ask their master for the complete Zhu Rong divine technique later, and then Brother Li help them take a look, okay? Li Hao felt amused in his heart. Every time he sees Xiaoyan Lingji, he can't help but think of that enchanting creature from Tianqing Joga. Then let's take a look at Xiaoyan Lingji's cute behavior, which feels extremely interesting. Although Yan Lingji's behavior was somewhat impolite, Li Hao would not refuse. He also needs a lot of secrets, the more the better. Even if you can't use it yourself, you can still sell it in the future. With the oven in hand, this is a profitable business. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. One Day Enlightenment, Invincible to the World. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. One Day Enlightenment, Invincible to the Worldly Daxian, who is omniscient and omnipotent, said, I have drunk a bit too much today. That's it. If you have any divine skill secret scripts in the future, you can send them directly to me. There are 3,000 great ways, and the rules of different worlds collide, which is also very useful for my cultivation. If there are enough secret scripts, I naturally won't be stingy with rewards. Xiaoyan Lingji. Okay, goodbye, Brother Li. Farewell to the Immortal, said Gu Santong, an unbeatable mischievous child Xialongnu. Farewell to the Immortal. Master of the moon worship sect. Farewell to the Immortal. Li Xuanhuan said, congratulations to the Immortal. Li Haomei happily withdrew from the chat group, not because he had really drunk too much, but because he was eager to try the mystery of cultivation. Extract Immortal Golden Body, Imperial Weapon Technique, and Beiming Swallows Heaven. The group leader's privilege is activated, and the Enlightenment function can be used for free once a month. As soon as the sound in the underworld sounded, Li Hao felt as if he had fallen into an endless abyss and could no longer perceive the existence of his body. The mystery of the 3 volumes of divine skill rises in my heart. Li Hao sometimes felt like a kunpeng swimming in the vast ocean, capable of swallowing all 4 seas. Sometimes I feel like a giant rock bird soaring in the sky, for thousands of miles in a blink of an eye. Sometimes I feel as if I have fallen into the 9 underworld, suffering from inhumane torment. The whole body was torn apart every inch, and the flesh and blood were ground into insignificant powder, causing almost insane pain. In the endless changes, Li Hao lost his perception of time. When he opened his eyes again and woke up from the special realm of enlightenment, he felt that everything in heaven and earth had changed. More clear. It's like brushing away the dust and seeing the essence of the world. At this moment, he could clearly feel the spiritual energy scattered throughout the world, surging, vast, and endless. Li Hao's eyes closed slightly, feeling that all he needed was a small thought to mobilize the immense power of heaven and earth. In addition, he could clearly feel that there was a massive force operating within his body. This is. Li Hao looked at his hands, which were smooth and fair, shining with a sparkling white treasure under the light, and couldn't help but show a look of shock. The immortal golden body is a great achievement. This. Li Hao's thoughts twitched slightly, and countless mysterious moments about the immortal golden body appeared in his mind. That feeling was as if he had honed this divine skill for thousands of years and understood all the mysteries within it. Wudao. Did I not feel a simple fantasy before, but a special divine power similar to time acceleration? Li Hao's expression changed slightly, and he suddenly understood where his change came from. At the same time, he also gained a deeper understanding of the power of the Zhutian chat group. In a blink of an eye for 1,000 years. Li Hao took a deep breath and felt the majestic Zhenyuan in his body, unable to help but smile. Anyway, this is a good thing. I just don't know to what extent my cultivation level has reached, as I have all achieved great success in the immortal golden body, the northern underworld swallows the sky, and the imperial weapon technique. Maybe we should find a chance to give it a try. Li Hao pondered and turned to look at the nearby phone. July 26th. It's been 2 days. Did you actually immerse yourself in the realm of enlightenment for 2 days? Li Hao's pupils tightened and he was stunned for a moment. But soon, he regained his senses from his daze. Practicing 3 divine skills in just 2 days seems to be very, very valuable. Without the special bonus of enlightenment, ghosts know how long it will take to get started. After thinking it through, Li Hao no longer cared about this matter. I don't know how things are in the group. Li Hao thought and entered the chat group. Immortal Online, said Gu Santong, an unbeatable mischievous child. At this moment, a low-key group leader quietly passed by, said omniscient and omnipotently Daxian Xiaoyan Lingji. At this moment, an arrogant group leader walked past without restraint. Xiaoyan Lingji. Brotherly, you haven't been online for several days. It's really troublesome to practice immortal golden body. It took me several days to complete the first step of building the foundation. Invincible naughty Gu Santong. At Little Flame Spirit G, you have successfully built the foundation. Shock.jpg, Xiaoyan Lingji said, thanks to my master's elixir, they were able to barely complete the foundation construction. Invincible naughty Gu Santong said, it's unreasonable. It's just that I lost to Lord Baiyue. Even a little brat has completed the foundation of immortal golden body before me now. Oh, I won't live anymore. It must be the immortal who opened a small stove for you, right? Li Hao smiled and watched the commotion in the group, then blocked it with a backhand and threw it out. Invincible mischievous child Gu Santong was blocked by the group leader, omniscient and omnipotently Daxian, for 1 minute. Xiao Xiao Yenling Ji. At Almighty and Almightily Daxian, what is the group task? Why hasn't there been any response? I haven't had anyone to play with these days, it's so boring. Li Daxian, who is omniscient and omnipotent, said, at Xiao Xiao Flame Spirit G, it's good. Practice well. In the future, when you achieve great divine skills, no one will be able to bully you again. Xiaoyan Lingji. #/ Hashtag, they will definitely work hard to cultivate and defeat all the bad guys. Sister Xiaolong also built a foundation successfully, even earlier than them. Li Hao was somewhat surprised. He was not surprised by the success of Yan Lingji's foundation construction. After all, Jianqing Jioga is already considered a fantasy world, and its strength value is not low. Although it cannot be compared to the world of Fairy Sword yet, it is far from being the best in the world, or even compared to the world where Little Dragon Girl is located. It's novel that Xiaolongnu and Yan Lingji completed the foundation construction at the same time. Li Daxian, omniscient and omnipotent. At Xiaolongnu, have you also completed the foundation building? Xiaolongnu. It's a lucky breakthrough. Xiaolongnu paused for a moment and continued, but it's not yesterday as Yan Lingji's sister said. It's been a month since the fairy rested here. 1 month. Li Hao was somewhat surprised. It had only been 2 days since he arrived here, and surprisingly, it had been a month since Xiaolongnu arrived. Can it be said that the time flow rate of the heavens and all realms is also different? Li Xuanhuan said, we have also noticed this issue in the past few days, but there is currently no clue. Because our time flow is not eternal, sometimes our time flow is much faster than that of Little Dragon Girl, but sometimes it is much slower. Li Hao frowned and remained silent. In that case, things seem to be even more complicated. Li Daxian, the Almighty and Almighty, said, there are differences in the heavens and all realms, and it is normal for the flow of time to vary. Practice well, and if you can achieve the same lifespan as heaven and earth, even if the flow of time is different, it is not a problem. Ha ha ha, I'm the unbeaten naughty boy back, said Gu Santong. Invincible mischievous child. Gu Santong said, oh my, I was wrong, group leader. I shouldn't say bad things about you, I shouldn't say you opened a small stove for Yan Lingji, I shouldn't say you have an affair. Li Hao's eyes twitched slightly, this guy was definitely intentional. Invincible mischievous child. Gu Santong was banned by the group leader for 10 minutes. Li Hao did not block Gu Santong this time because he needed to try out the different effects of group leader permissions. Everyone was shocked and didn't expect the group leader to have so much authority. At the same time, they silently warned themselves to be careful with dog management in the future. Xiaoyan Lingji. Trembling with fear, the group leader is mighty. Li Xuanhuan. Trembling and trembling, the group leaders are mighty. Master of the Moon Worship Sect. Trembling with fear, the group leaders are mighty. Xiaolongnu. Trembling and trembling, the group leader is mighty. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. The first task of a chat group. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. The first task of chat groups. Li Daxian. Group tasks come in various forms. One is the task posted by the group members, and other group members can choose whether to accept the task based on their compensation. For example, if someone needs a martial arts secret script, you can specify the type of script you need and attach the reward you are willing to pay, and then post it in the group task. The second type is private tasks. You may encounter various personal tasks at any time in your respective worlds. These tasks are mostly reward points, and the use of points is also very extensive. You can check the use of points yourself. The third type is team tasks. Chat groups sometimes post large team tasks that require members to work together to better complete. The rewards for such tasks are not fixed, sometimes they are points, sometimes they are special items, or they can directly help improve cultivation. Xiaoyan Lingji. So it's like this, no wonder they didn't find anything. Little Flame Spirit G. */Omega, brotherly, they have discovered a new feature that's really interesting. Do you want to take a look? Li Hao was a bit surprised. New features. Li Daxian. I've been resting lately and haven't researched chat groups. What new features have you discovered? Baiyue. The houses stretch endlessly, and the bamboo towers are hidden within the mountains. Inside a 2-story bamboo building. Yan Lingji was dressed in a bright and fiery short skirt with an exposed navel, and her delicate and slender waist was fully exposed to the air with her crystal-clear legs. Her lips curved slightly, and a seductive smile appeared on her already charming and unparalleled face. Xiaoyan Lingji initiated a group video chat. Video chat. Li Hao is still amazed, there have been changes in the chat group. Picture, no, it's like holographic projection. Li Hao entered Yan Lingji's video chat and felt as if he had come to Yan Lingji's cabin, where he could clearly see everything inside. Li Xuanhuan said, there are beautiful women in the north. They are unparalleled and independent. Just look at the city of Qingren. Then look at the country of Qingren. Yan Lingji has such a stunning beauty at a young age. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that, Li Xuanhuan realized the inadequacy in his words as he spoke, and quickly apologized. Yan Lingji waved her small fist and pursed her pink cherry lips, humming, when I achieve my divine skill, let's see who dares to bully me. Li Hao was amused in his heart, but now Yan Lingji is still a child. Li Daxian said, not bad, this feature is indeed quite interesting. It can reflect images from other worlds onto the heavens, it's amazing. Yan Lingji held her fragrant cheeks in her hand, her fox-like eyes blinking, her long eyelashes trembling gently, and she coquettishly said, this kind of chat is so boring. You choose to join the video chat, and then you will project an image here. Li Daxian. Little girl, why don't you go eat candy? Li Daxian sent an exclusive red envelope to Xiaoyan Lingji. Xiaoyan Lingji received a red envelope. Li Daxian has exited the video chat. Yan Lingji received a red envelope, but before she could be happy, she saw the news that Li Hao had left the chat room and pouted in dissatisfaction. Humph, annoying. They've been looking forward to it for so many days. Yan Lingji pouted and casually picked up a strawberry-flavored candy and put it on her red lips. Well, sweet. After finishing, I'll have a video chat with Brother Li. Li Hao had no idea that he was already equated with candy in the eyes of Yan Lingji. Li Daxian. There are many functions in chat groups, and we still need to slowly explore them. Invincible mischievous child Gu Santong said, I'm back again. The group leader, I was wrong, I really know I was wrong. Cry, kneel down. JPG. Li Hao laughed in his heart, this guy just doesn't have a long memory. Li Daxian said, tell me about the feeling of being punished twice, what is the difference? The first time I was blocked, I completely lost my sense of the chat group and couldn't log in no matter how much I called. It scared the baby to death, said Gu Santong, an unbeatable mischievous child. Everyone's pupils tightened, showing solemnity. Hush. Unable to perceive chat group. This is too abnormal. Everyone's hearts tightened slightly, and for the first time, they had a direct understanding of the authority of the group leader. When they first joined the group, they now have a relatively intuitive understanding of the role of chat groups and their brilliant future. If blocked outside the chat group, it is absolutely unacceptable for everyone. Invincible mischievous child Gu Santong said, the second time was quite interesting. Although I couldn't speak in the group, I could still see people speaking in the group and join the video chat of Xiaoyan Lingji. By the way, I like Xiaoyan Lingji so beautiful, and she will definitely become a peerless beauty in the future. Xiaoyan Lingji said, oh my, although they are really beautiful, they still feel shy when you say that. Li Hao's mouth twitched slightly. Shy, why do I think you're quite happy? Li Daxian. Li Xuanhuan. Little Dragon Girl. Master of the Moon Worship Sect. Master of the Moon Worship Sect. Great Immortal, I have just completed the 3rd level of the Immortal Golden Body and am currently stuck in the 4th level. However, the effect of Immortal Golden Body is indeed extraordinary. I have only completed the 3rd level of cultivation, and my physical body is already several times stronger than before. I can easily unleash tens of thousands of pounds of power without fear of ordinary swords and spears. If one practices until the 9 great perfections, even if they cannot be born in heaven and earth, they are still capable of becoming gods in their physical bodies and competing with the gods in the heavenly realm. Invincible mischievous child Gu Santong said, I'll go. The sect leader has already advanced to the 4th level. Li Daxian said, the leader of the moon-worshipping sect already has strong magical power. It is normal for him to break through the 4th level of the Immortal Golden Body so quickly. Li Daxian. At Master Baiwe, let's talk later. Since you are a member of the chat group now, there are some things that need to be restrained. Otherwise, wait. Li Hao was about to talk to the master of the moon worship sect about his feelings when suddenly the voice of a chat group came to his ears. Trigger special task. Change of the Lord of the Moon Worship Sect. Change the Lord's idea of destruction, guide him on the right and glorious path, and receive corresponding rewards based on the completion of the task. Li Hao was surprised in his heart and didn't expect to be able to obtain the task in this way. He pondered slightly and sent a screenshot of the task to the group. Xiaoyan Lingji. Hey, is this a mission, or is it about Brother Baiyue's mission? Invincible mischievous child Gu Santong said, you can also obtain tasks in this way, but what is the reward for this task? Nanzhao Kingdom, the main altar of the worship of the moon. The master of the moon worship sect's expression slightly changed, and his pupils instantly tightened to a little. He suddenly stood up, his expression changing and uncertain. This. Do even chat groups think they are wrong? No, I just want to create a perfect world, a world where everyone can feel love. Is it also a mistake to create a perfect world? End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Soul Mentor Li Daxian. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9 Soul Mentor Li Daxian. Master, do you have any instructions? Some worshippers of the moon worship sect noticed something unusual about the leader of the moon worship sect and nervously inquired. The master of the moon worshipping sect did not answer, but his brow furrowed and he fell into contemplation. He is considering whether he has made a mistake or not. Just a fan of the situation, the leader of the moon worship sect pondered for a moment, still unable to understand where he was wrong. He remained silent for a moment before his eyes suddenly lit up. Yes, that person can definitely give themselves an answer. Master of the moon worship sect. At Li Daxian, can you see through the past, present, and future? In your opinion, am I wrong? Li Hao raised his eyebrows slightly, lost in thought. He is not sure about the current state of the moon worshipping master, but he is somewhat familiar with the moon worshipping master in TV dramas. Simply put, this is a child who lacks love, with a young man in his heart. As he said to his adoptive father when he was a child, I just want to hear someone say they love me. Li Hao pondered for a moment, already having plans in his heart. Li Daxian said, your idea is not wrong, but there is a problem with your approach. Do you remember what I once said? You should have become a respected saint, a generation of sages who will remain famous for eternity, rather than being killed by the son of fate. No, you should have died in your own hands as a pitiful creature. Upon hearing this, the leader of the moon worshipping sect fell into silence and became a little curious. Sage. Myself. Master of the moon worshipping sect. Please teach me, great immortal. Li Daxian said, there is nothing wrong with wanting to create a perfect world and an ideal country where everyone can feel love. This is a great idea and also an admirable one. Just like a philosopher named Marx who once proposed the concept of communism. There is also a person named Mosey who proposed the concept of both love and non-aggression. There are countless people like this in all the heavens and all the realms, and they cannot be measured at all. And these two have both become saints, even though their ideas have not been implemented, they are still revered by billions of people for eternity. Do you know why upon hearing this, the leader of the moon worship sect became increasingly interested? He is too lonely because no one understands him, let alone cares about his thoughts. At this moment, hearing the countless great beings in the heavens and realms who share the same thoughts as himself and have become saints, he couldn't help but feel as if he had found the path to the future. Master of the moon worship sect. Dare to ask the immortal, what is communism and the concept of both love and non-aggression? Li Daxian uploaded Mosey and Marxism. Master Baiyue extracted Mosey and Marxism. A large amount of knowledge and viewpoints flooded into his mind, and the leader of the moon worship sect, with his profound cultivation and extremely powerful elemental spirit, quickly flipped through two works. Master Baiyue. Interesting ideas, although many of them are not applicable to this world, they have also benefited me greatly. Especially the social classes mentioned in Marxism and the concept of struggle among different classes, I have gained a lot. Some of the concepts coincide with my ideas, but unfortunately I can't meet Mr. Ma. Li Hao's face twitched wildly. Damn it, Master of the Moon Worship Sect, have you found a common language in the Marx predecessors? Do you still want to see Marx? Li Hao's face was speechless, but he didn't know where to start roast. There are too many flaws for him to handle. Li Daxian said, perhaps there will be an opportunity in the future. Let's discuss your issue now. Your ideas are not a problem, but your actions are too crude. Destroy the world and reshape the earth. Leaving aside whether you have the ability to destroy the world, will immortals, demons, and even practitioners of your world watch you destroy the world? Even if you can destroy the world and restart heaven and earth, you are certain that the creatures of the new world can create your ideal world. The leader of the moon worship sect fell into contemplation. He had never considered such a far-reaching outcome. At this moment, hearing Li Hao suddenly mention this issue, Baiyue couldn't help but fall into self-doubt. Even if one successfully destroys the world, can future creatures truly create their ideal kingdom? Li Daxian said, also, your situation is too small and you have never really looked at the world. Since you have decent strength, why do you have to be in a corner? Compared to the whole world, Nanzhao is just a small place, and with your strength, you can completely go to a broader world. The leader of the moon worship sect remained silent. Li Daxian said, also, do you remember that I said you had the opportunity to become a saint who will be remembered for eternity? The leader of the moon-worshipping sect suddenly woke up from the silence, feeling extremely anxious in his heart. This is not the first time Li Hao has said this, but he has never explained the reason behind it. Li Daxian. In the future, you will find that the world you are in is round, similar to an orange. Master of the moon worship sect. What, is there such a thing? Li Daxian. Do you still remember the young man who took Zhao Linger away? Master Baiyue said, I remember, he took Zhao Linger on a phoenix and headed west. I didn't deliberately pursue him because I had other important matters at that time. Li Daxian said, Zhao Linger is now on Xianling Island, a small island east of Yuhang. That young man took her all the way west, thinking he had changed the future, but he didn't know that he had finally returned to the starting point. The leader of the moon-worshipping sect was stunned for a moment before awakening. Heading west all the way, if Xianling Island is to the east of Yuhang, it is only to the east of Nanzhao. Is this world really round? Master Baiyue said, this fact is too wonderful. Please wait for a while, great immortal. Baiyue will go and confirm that the earth is round. The leader of the moon worship sect has been taken offline. Li Hao couldn't help but roll his eyes. Are you too anxious about this? As for how the Lord of the Moon worship sect confirmed it, Li Hao already had some speculations in his heart. It's nothing more than going to Xianling Island to ask for clarification, or experiencing it yourself. However, based on Li Hao's understanding of the moon worshipping sect leader, he feels that he is more likely to personally visit. As for whether the head of the moon worship sect will directly attack Zhao Linger after confirming that the world is a ball, and what should the future protagonist Li Xiaoyao do, Li Hao said that he has nothing to do with it. Don't you see that I am currently doing what the future protagonist only does, busy saving the world? As for the great navigator worshipping the moon cult leader. Li Hao thought, but couldn't help but feel a bit amused. Has this changed the future of the moon worship sect leader? Invincible mischievous child Gu Santong said, well, the Lord of the Moon worship sect has really gone to determine if the world is a ball. But then again, how does he plan to determine? Li Daxian said, how else can we be certain? Just fly around the world. If you fly in one direction and eventually return to the original place, then it means the world is a ball. Everyone was stunned and didn't react for a moment. Around the world. How many years will it take? Forget it, they just fly around. It seems that no one here can fly, right? Invincible mischievous child Gu San Tong. Flying around the world, this is too awesome. Invincible mischievous child Gu Santong said, forget it, kneel down for the moon-worshipping master, I can't afford to provoke you. Li Xuanhuan said, forget it, I'm kneeling down for the big moon worshipper. I can't afford to provoke him. Xialongnu. Forget it, I'm kneeling down for the moon worshipper. I can't afford to provoke you. Xiaoyan Lingji. Forget it, I'm kneeling down for Brother Baiyue. I can't afford it. End of this chapter. 10, Chapter 10. Realistic changes, spiritual tides will rise. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. Realistic changes, spiritual tides will rise. P.S. The contract was signed with 2,000 words, and it has been delayed until now when the contract was mailed. Finally, the status has been changed. Celebrating the new book status change, 2 updates today. By the way, this book was originally written for self-entertainment, but I casually wrote a chapter and uploaded it in a vest at noon. Unexpectedly, I signed the contract in the afternoon. Since we have signed the contract, let's write it carefully because there is another book that needs to be updated, and it will be heavily recommended in the next few days. Therefore, we can only keep this book updated until it is recommended. We are truly sorry. Nanjiang. A small city located in the middle and lower reaches of the Yangtze River, not far from Huangshan. Due to the abundance of mountains, forests, and hills in this area, industry cannot be considered developed. Although the city is small, it has all 5 internal organs. After 15 years of development, what other cities should have, this place already has. For example, the practitioner market. As its name suggests, everything sold here is related to cultivation. From the simplest cultivation aids, to some special medicinal herbs and cultivation techniques, and even prohibited items that are explicitly prohibited from sale, there is everything. Li Hao walked on the street without attracting attention. He came out this time, firstly to see what the real martial arts look like, and secondly to purchase some special weapons. The technique of imperial weapons evolved from the little Li flying dagger and has never deviated from its scope. Compared to bulky weapons, flying knives are the best companion for imperial weapon art. However, the flying knife used by Xiao Li's flying knife is not an ordinary flying knife. The special structure on the flying knife is also the key to Li Xuanhuan's ability to dominate the martial arts world. It can ensure that the flying knife can minimize resistance and give full play to its speed advantage after being released. And the flying knives that Li Hao needs are different. Shenbing Fang. Since the revival of spiritual energy, the once disappearing cold weapons have flourished again due to the surge of martial arts practitioners. For some unknown reason, the government did not restrict the development of cold weapons, but instead relaxed the restrictions. Shenbing Fang is a chain store that has developed in such a large environment. The blades among them are renowned throughout the country for their excellent texture. Of course, most ordinary people purchase standard weapons forged mechanically, and weapons forged by masters are not affordable for ordinary people to afford. Sir, may I ask if you need anything? A smiling girl approached. Li Hao looked at the dazzling array of weapons in the store and said, I need some flying knives. It's best to be 3 inches and 7 centimeters thin like cicada wings. The girl looked slightly surprised and shook her head with a bitter smile, saying, Sir, I'm really sorry, but we don't have the kind of flying knife you need in our divine weapon workshop. But we have other types of flying knives, why don't you take a look? Li Hao frowned and said, what procedures are required for customization? Customized. The girl carefully glanced at Li Hao's clothes, his whole body costing no more than 1,000 yuan. She was critical in her heart, but she didn't show it. The girl said, there are no special requirements for this. Customers can talk about their requirements for the weapon, and our master will determine how much deposit needs to be paid based on the customer's requirements. If the local master is not confident in creating the special weapon that the customer needs, we will send the order to the headquarters and have the master skilled in creating such weapons start working on it. The weapon blade has been crafted and will be delivered as soon as possible. Without delaying, customers pick up timely. Howen nodded slightly and said, "The flying knife I need is in the shape of a willow leaf, and I don't need a handle. It's 3 inches and 7 centimeters long, as light and thin as possible, but I need to ensure that the flying knife has enough toughness." The girl took note of Li Hao's request and smiled. "Sir, do you have any other requirements?" Li Hao said, "I'm not good at crafting weapons. Let the master you're looking at watch." The girl said, "Okay, sir, please come with me. Please wait in the VIP room for a moment, and I will send the information to the master. Later, the master may come over to discuss with you about making the flying knife. Here is the material manual of our divine weapon workshop, which details the characteristics and prices of various materials. You can take a look." The girl took Li Hao to the private room on the 3rd floor and instructed him to complete everything before leaving. Li Hao sat on the soft sofa, flipping through all kinds of materials recorded on it, and felt like 10,000 grassland animals running. The cheapest materials are calculated at 10 yuan per gram, and the most expensive spiritual materials can cost tens of thousands of yuan per gram. What is the concept of tens of thousands of yuan per gram? If you want to build a long sword with the best materials, wouldn't it mean you have to spend billions of dollars on materials? Crazy. Li Hao felt speechless in his heart. He had originally felt that bringing his savings of over 100,000 over the years could at least create a few good flying knives. But when I saw the material costs above, I suddenly felt that I was really poor, very poor. With this little money, if you use the best materials, you may not even be able to buy a ring, let alone a flying knife. Hey, I don't know when a tech tycoon can come to the group and borrow some money from the bank to spend money." Li Hao murmured silently in his heart. Suddenly, he heard a slightly frightened cry from upstairs. "The Reiki tide is coming. Spiritual tide." Li Hao's expression was slightly stunned, with some doubts in his heart. He remained calm and focused, his magic working, and peered into the movements upstairs. Upstairs. 2 people sit opposite each other on the coffee table. A person with thick eyebrows and big eyes, a national face, and a calm and confident expression was none other than Zhao Yu, the director of the Nanjiang National Security Bureau and the deputy governor of the Huizhou Military Department. The Martial Arts Department is a new department established after the revival of spiritual energy, specifically responsible for handling most matters related to practitioners. Across from Zhao Yu is the master of this divine weapon workshop, Zhang Su. At the same time, he is also a rare master and expert in the world. What is a master? That is, an innate expert. The martial arts of the earth are divided into 4 major realms: forging, acquired, innate, and alchemy. Although Zhang Su is over 60 years old, his beard and hair are still as black as ink, and his physique is even more robust than that of young people. Even his loose white clothes cannot cover the high and protruding muscles below. Zhang Su's face was full of nervousness and his voice was deep. The spiritual tide, the second wave of heaven and earth transformation, is that really what you said? Zhao Yu looked bitter and said, "Even if I have the courage, I dare not speak recklessly about such things. We thought the changes in heaven and earth had completely passed, but the prophet suddenly observed an anomaly a few days ago. Our current mutation is a precursor to true mutation, a pre-storm anomaly. The upcoming spiritual tide will be a huge storm sweeping across the coast, far more violent than the current spiritual impact of 10 or 100 times." Zhang Su's face twitched, with surprises and heaviness. He was overjoyed that the spiritual tide was approaching, and his martial arts cultivation was bound to take it to the next level. The current few great masters and great masters will inevitably emerge like mushrooms after rain in the future. And what weighed heavily on him was the same. While the changes in heaven and earth brought about gratifying changes, there were also many secrets that ordinary people did not know. Alien. Non-human creatures. Along with the changes in heaven and earth, various supernatural phenomena also appear. The most common among them are exotic beasts that have evolved from the awakening of Earth's creatures. In addition to this most common and easily treatable monster, there are many other creatures that even the Academy of Sciences cannot explain. Once the tide of spiritual power rises again, Zhang Su has to doubt whether this world will evolve into a scene of gods and demons dancing wildly. End of this chapter.